Um, I thought I was going to be late to the party. Last week, a few people did videos about this topic, and I thought I was going to be late to the party. Last week, I had some events happen in my family that I had to tend to, so I wasn't able to go live and do a video about this. Shout out to CP the artist who touched on this topic and a few others. However, there's new information regarding Zion Williamson. I followed him in his high school career. I thought he is going to be a beast in the NBA. I thought he would have been an entertaining player. I did not think he was going to be like the GOAT, right? Like a rising star like LeBron James. But I thought he was going to come in and make noise, right? Then with his injuries, I started to lose interest in Zion Williamson, and I'm pretty sure I'm not alone. Okay. However, despite his injuries, he is baking, like he is making money. Okay. Pelicans are paying him a lot of money. So women would consider him high value ish because the man's a millionaire. He's making millions of dollars. And as a result, he tends to do what young men without guidance from an older, more mature man. I'm not saying he might have that. I haven't seen it. Tend to do when they get a large lump of money at a very young age. And that's to splurge it, to flaunt it, or even to use it to get women. So he fell down the trap that many young men before him have fell down. And he's going to be paying the price. Now, Antonia Mosley, shout out to you. You said in the chat that the high value man is a subjective term. What would be considered high value man in Africa wouldn't be considered high value in America. I agree. I agree with that sentiment. However, money in America, because that's where we are, tends to be the major factor in a man being high value or not. Why? Because with money comes fame, power, prestige, all those things that people can mask the whole high value man thing. You can win the lotto and front being a high value man. But without the character, anything that you get, you'll probably lose. And shout out to Marley December that's in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. Zion Williamson, a young man playing in the NBA, is caught in between a rock and a hard place. He got a young lady pregnant, maybe his girlfriend, I don't know. But then there's this other young lady who claims to have had relations with him and is upset about the fact that he is now flaunting having a baby with this young lady on his Instagram. She's not happy about it. And the latest news is
danger, danger.
This is not for children, not this one. The young lady who is playing the jealous card right now has threatened to release video footage of them together and told the Pelicans they should trade him now before she released this video.
Danger.
This is what happened when men who are on the verge of becoming actually high value in society loses it all because they could not recognize the biggest threat to them being a high value man. So you're probably wondering, well, Dre, what's the biggest threat to a high value man? I'm going to tell you. And some of you guys will be offended.
Danger.
It's a woman of low value. The greatest, biggest, most dangerous threat to a high value man is a woman with low value. You probably think like, that's an obvious thing, right? Well, if it's so obvious, why are so many men falling to the prey of a low value woman? It's because they can't recognize it. There's a verse in the Bible that says we walk by faith, not by sight. I like that verse. And I think more men need to walk by faith and not by sight, because young men tend to insert their extremities into women that just look good to them. They look, they see, they want, and then they get. King David fell prey to this. And as a result, his kingdom, his lineage was all messed up. We talk about King David being the greatest king in Israel. Okay. But what we don't talk about is the effects of his sin. The fact that he was immoral. The fact that he committed adultery. He murdered the man whose wife he was committing adultery with. As a result, his kids were pretty much terrorists. Their kids, and so on and so forth. Yes, Molly December. So we become delusional, especially in the Christian faith, not thinking about the lessons that God really wants us to learn when it comes to stories like King David. Because we're quick to shout King David was a man after God's own heart. And then we use his failings as a way to excuse our behavior because David wasn't perfect, but he was a man of God's own heart, right? But the reality of the situation is the reason why that's in scripture so that we can learn from his mistakes and not follow them. Many would consider David a high value man. And because he was a high value man, he had many women, many wives. And the effect of him having many wives is that his kids were horrible to one another, doing things that brothers and sisters should not be doing together, taking the lives of each other. One of his sons wanted him deleted. All because, well, not all because, but partly because, large part because he had multiple wives. King Solomon, considered the wisest man ever, wasn't that wise when it came to women. Wasn't. Caused him to essentially leave the faith and look at other gods. He was simping for those women. As a result, he had many kids, many wives, many concubines, led him away from God, worshiping idols, Baals, all that stuff. And it affected the kingdom. When high value men or men on the rise of becoming high value connect with a low value woman, he no longer will become a high value man because she's looking to deplete him of all his resources. This is a bitter truth that we have to really, really, really consider. This is something that women must also educate their sons on. You have to, because the Queen Mother in Proverbs 31 was instructing her son on what to look for in a woman. Mothers, fathers must be instructing their kids on how to actually be high value. And you know where high value starts? With character. It starts with character. It doesn't start with money. It starts with character, because money will reveal what your character really is. Having more money does not make you a better person. If you are a bad person with money, you become an even worse person with money. However, if you are a good person with money, You have the potential of becoming a bad person with money unless your character is straight, unless you understand the purpose of money. It's not to make you look good, and feel more valuable to society. No, it's a resource you use to make yourself better and others around you better. Which is why men who are in their 20s, who receive millions of dollars and go into sports, end up doing nonsense like Ja Morant, like Zion Williamson, like so many other sports players prior to them, just like so many other sports players after them. I promise you, if I can connect with some of these sports agencies and sports companies and teams, I wish they would hire me to come in and mentor them, to teach them, or other young men or older men, to teach them what they need to be looking at and looking for in order to become a high value man, how they can add value to themselves and to the organization, to their families, to their society and stuff. That's what needs to happen. That needs to happen. Because we have a young man like Zion Williamson who may potentially lose all of his money because he's injury prone. He does not practice intimate discipline. Somebody's at my front door. Right? He doesn't practice that. And it's crazy. It's crazy. But you know what? We're not surprised because a lot of young men get a pass. They get a pass because, hey, they're young. Everybody makes mistakes. And yes, we all make mistakes. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. We all make mistakes. I've made my fair share of mistakes. I do. I have. I still do, probably. However, just because I made a mistake doesn't mean that I can just look at somebody young and say, I did it too. You'll be all right. The reason why I made my mistakes, right, is probably because I can learn from my mistakes and they can learn from my mistakes also and not follow my footsteps. That's the benefit of having older men in your life. That's the benefit, because they can tell you the truth. I tried that. It's not all that is cracked up to be. You may want to go another route, young man. But Zion Williamson, millionaire, mad money. He's about to lose it all. And also, when you deal with a low value woman, which is the biggest threat to a high value man, what's going on, Brian Mason? Glad you're here. And Chavis, I see you, bro. They will control your life. This woman who claims to have video footage of them together publicly stated that the team he plays for right now better trade him soon because she's about to release that footage.
Danger.
That's the problem when men think that they have their whole lives ahead of them. They can dwell within this season of fun and search Instagram and OnlyFans baddies to have fun with. One night of pleasure, my brothers, can give you a lifetime of pain. One ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. You're messing up the bag, as they say. I'm an old man. I don't know if that's like cool coming out of my mouth. We messing up the bag. Zion, Ja, all you guys. You're messing up the bag. You're looking at women as toys, as objects at your intimate disposal. The problem with that is that it's reckless and it's unpredictable. You're not practicing discipline. And because you're not practicing discipline, you're about to lose it all. All of it. Zion's not on Kobe's level. Ja's not on Kobe's level. Kobe almost lost it all if it wasn't for a faithful wife who forgave him. But he was married. Kobe lacked discipline, and here's the crazy thing. We can all say that Kobe was one of, if not the most disciplined basketball players in all of NBA history. And he became even more disciplined after the mistake he made in going outside of his wife. Wasn't out there partying no more. Was in the gym, outworking everybody. He should have been probably home more with his wife, but he was able to practice discipline at that point. When before he couldn't. Lesson learned. Zion, you're not going to watch this. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure I'm a nobody in this space. In the sphere of influence, I have a very small people that rock with me. But you, Zion, you are an international. So you probably won't hear this, but if you do, on the off chance that you do hear this, understand this. It's time for you to learn this lesson. You made a mistake. It's time to pick up the pieces, own it, move on, and start applying discipline in your life. Because that discipline will help you become less injury prone and less likely to be somebody else's baby daddy out there. When you're rich, most women you deal with are harlots. Ooh, just got to be aware of it. Yeah. I say be aware of it and avoid it at the same time. At the same time. Truth is this. When you got money, there's a target on your back. There's a target on your back. Brittany Renner proved that. She went after a man 5, 6, 7 years younger than her, got pregnant, right? And she's not getting the bag that she thought she was going to get. She's getting something. Men, we got to be more wiser. Us older men really got to get in the minds of these younger men and say, listen, you can't ruin your life just for a pretty face and two pieces of meat with a line in between it. Come on. Ruining our lives. And then a lot of times, those two pieces of meat with a line in between it isn't even real. So we're about to lose the realness of our lives for something and somebody that's fake. I'm talking about Tisha Campbell in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air fake, like taking off. I'm talking about Homegirl and I'm going to Get You Sucker fake. Fake. And we're ruining our lives over it. Which is why I said the greatest threat to a high value man or a man becoming high value is a low value woman. And you must stay away. Stay away. And how can you identify a woman of low value? And ladies, you may not like this. If she demands that you treat her like a wife or like she deserves something before she can approve it, you may want to avoid that and hide it and just run. Just run. Just run. Let's go. You know what else you can do? You know what else you can do? How about using this as bait? Yeah, I'm going to fly you out. Okay. And if you just met her or haven't even met her yet, and she's like, okay, yeah, fly me out. And we're going to, yeah, you may want to run. You may want to run. No woman of high value is going to allow you to fly her out after a few text message conversations over the phone or on the internet. That means she's trying to get the bag. You may not like this, but it's an indicator. It may not be the indicator for all, but it can be the indicator for most. So please be careful with that. Snuggles, what's going on? Can you explain the implications of young men growing up in fatherless households? How having to choose a woman, especially when he has access to money? This is a very good question. And a dope question. Actually, I'm glad you asked this. The implication is that there's no model for what it looks like with when a woman interacts with a man and a man interacts with a woman if he doesn't have a father in the home. He doesn't know where to gain his information from. And most cases, he's going to get a lot of the information from his mother. His mother's going to tell him that men do this, men do this, men do this, men do this. He's going to go out there, he's going to try to do whatever it is that mom told him to do. But what benefits men most is when he's able to see it happen. When he's able to see it happen. But what happens if he can't see it happen? Okay. What happens if he can't see it happen? He needs to identify what men in his life that will give him positive value. Glean from them. Be like, listen, this is how you choose a good woman. Like, for instance, I'll give you a perfect example. He had a father, but in the movie The Bronx Tale, Calogero, right, asked Sonny, about girlfriend, and Sonny gave him some tips. He's an older man giving him some tips and saying, and I'm not saying go watch The Bronx Tale. I'm just saying I watched a couple of years ago before I got saved, had a good valuable lesson here that an older man is teaching a younger man, right, how to identify a good woman. Right? Real simple, right? He said, here's what you're going to do, Sonny. And I'm paraphrasing. You're going to open up the door for her. You're going to go around the back of the car. And when you go around the back of the car, look to see if she opens up the door for you. And if she opens up the door for you, she's a good woman. You got a good one, see? Like, come on. That's the implication. When there's no fathers in the home, men don't know how to choose right. Because if they see their father treating their mother really well, and then see how their mother behaves, they're more likely to choose a woman just like their mother. But in a lot of cases, if their mother's single, there's no connection to what he should be looking for in a woman, because he might just find somebody, and I say this in respect and in love, okay? A lot of people, men and women, are single for a reason. And if they remain single for a long time, there's got to be some self-reflection there. All right. It's got to start with them. So they are single for a reason. Now, they may be finding women, right, that operate in the very same way their mother operates, which is what's keeping her single, which should be keeping them single, but he's attracted to that and he's not able to commit to that. So that's one of the implications. So it's very important for men, young men, to identify good, positive role models, preferably married with solid homes, to glean from, because a lot of you guys out there are getting information from young men who are still single, who are perpetually single, playing around with women and thinking that if I do that too, I'm going to find the woman that I want and need. And it's not going to happen. It really isn't. Boy need a man figure in their life. Every boy needs a man figure in his life, which is why I wrote my book, From a Fatherless Father to His Sons, because I didn't grow up without my father. I grew up without my father, and rest in peace. He passed away last week. And had a chance to meet him when I about 13 years ago, and we were developing a relationship. And I made a lot of stupid mistakes growing up, especially with women. Like I was one of those confidently insecure young men, right? Like I wasn't a player, but I was one of those kids that didn't really know how to interact with a young lady. So in the very beginning, I was getting played. And then toward the end of my teenage years, I was the one doing like the playing, and not like player, like, I was like taking like sort of like a lead in the relationships and not letting, myself get too close to whoever it is that I was with, because they could break my heart at any time, and they're not about to break my heart anymore. I had my heart broken twice in my life when I was younger, before when I was a teenager. And the first time I was like, I'm never going to let it happen. And for a while, I didn't let it happen. And then it happened again. And I was like, you know what? I'm good. And then I became a Christian, and God really turned my life around after that. But having a good, strong male figure in your life can help you with navigating the path of relationships with the opposite sex. And if you don't listen to a guy with family values, you'll find yourself trying to be trying to be the guys from Miami for the wrong women. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate it so much. So yeah. So again, That's a very good question. I'm glad you asked it. So you got to find young men, older men that you can learn from, and stop. And this I'm going to prescribe. Stop watching podcasts that encourages young men to not do anything with their lives, to treat women poorly, to go out there and play, to believe that women don't deserve anything. Let's stay away from that, right? If you find a woman who has earned her spot in your heart, that means she deserves everything that you're going to give her. So please give it to her, okay? Because at that point, if she's earned it, she deserves it. That's a bar, all right? That's a bar, all right? But back to the high value man thing, a low value woman, and how to identify her, okay? If she's all about the money, if she is flaunting her body all over the gram, she's looking for attention. That means inside she has low value. She doesn't value herself enough to know that her attractiveness is not in her nudity, it's in who she is as a person. So attacking the red pill, not sure what you mean by that, bro. Let me know what you mean by that. So another red flag. This is a no-no. This is a no-no. If she has an OnlyFans page, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Don't even pursue. Don't pass go. Okay? Go back home. Don't go. No. Is it possible for a man who has never been for a person who has never been married to talk about the landscape other people have to go through? Absolutely. Absolutely. Here's the thing. I think that there's some people who are wise. Some people have gone through clinical research and college and things like that, that are qualified to speak to this kind of thing. You know, there are those who are not qualified to speak to it because they desire something and they're trying to make everybody else feel like their desires is what should matter to everybody else. But then there's those who have done work, research, counseling with a variety of people and understand that relationships is a very broad spectrum and not every relationship is the same. Very unique. And what's unique to you may be strange to somebody else, but it's unique to you and it works for you. Excuse me. Red pill is a curse. You know, y'all already know I have my things against the red pill. And actually, at 8 o'clock, this live stream will go right into another live stream where I'm going to be discussing the Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate indictment and what it means for the red pill community going forward. That's going to be a good video. So I hope you guys rock with me until then. Okay. What should marriage look like? Marriage should look like a husband and a wife working harmoniously to make their marriage work. It's not perfect. So for anybody to say this is what a perfect marriage looks like, it's almost impossible to see because we're not trying to make a marriage look like anything. We're trying to make a marriage be something. And for a marriage to be a good marriage, both the husband and the wife must be committed to one another and sacrifice for one another, understand the other person, unconditionally love the other person, be willing to forgive the other person, no matter the fault. That's what a marriage is. And I think the problem is a lot of people are looking for what the perfect marriage is. That they want to have what looks like the perfect marriage, but they don't want to really do the work for them to have a perfect marriage. This is why people spend so much money on the wedding day. Then when they have marriage problems, they won't spend that much money on a marriage counselor. They would rather spend that money on a divorce lawyer and get a divorce. We're living in a society now, this modern time, where everything must look good. Aesthetics is everything. So we spend thousands of dollars to show everybody, family, friends, all that stuff, that we love each other. This is what a good marriage looks like. couples goals and all that stuff. But all that is a facade. All of it is a facade. The real marriage starts when you guys can't stand each other. That's when the real marriage starts. The real marriage starts when you are like, I am ready to walk out this door. Because then you ask yourself, what are you really going to do? My marriage don't look like how I want it to look. It doesn't look the way I want it to look. Right? You know, then what? So let's focus more on what a marriage should be instead of what a marriage looks like. And I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Like you pretty much asking the same thing. But even the wording, what should a marriage be? It should be a husband and a wife committed to one another and committed to doing the work to make a marriage successful. Because a marriage is work. Marriage is work. And some people think that marriage is supposed to be a cakewalk, and it's not. You have two individuals trying to become one. It's going to get messy. It's going to get messy. Okay. And any good, any good item that you eat starts off messy. You got some good fried chicken, which I don't recommend you guys eating because we're trying to lose weight over here. We got good fried chicken. At first, it looks messy when you fry it, put all the ingredients together, you cook it up, put it in the fire, let it burn up a little bit, cause that friction, take it out, and it's an amazing piece of fried chicken. What about cake? We all love cake, right? Right? At first, it's a mess. You got all the flour and the sugar and all the ingredient, all that stuff, right? And then it even looks plain at first. After you take it out the oven, it looks like, what is this? This is just a regular plain cake. They put the icing on it, right? Put the icing on it. After all that is said and done, right? Understand this. The icing is what the cake looks like. But you can have like a good looking cake, but inside the cake, it tastes horrible. You got to make sure that the ingredients are right. Put the ingredients together. Put the ingredients together. Casey Neistat, shout out to him, spoke about this very thing last week. He and his wife almost divorced last year, but they did the work to save their union. And that's what marriage is all about. People say, well, I want a successful marriage. Okay. The question then is, are you willing to put the work in? Are you willing to put the work in? Here's the thing. Okay. When people are looking to have a good looking marriage, they tend to go on Instagram and portray a marriage that looks good. They pretend even to do the work. And then you find out a couple months after that the couple's getting a divorce because they were so concerned about making the marriage look good. Let's make the marriage good. Let's make it good. Brian Mason from Be More says, I've been married for going on 10 years in September. Shout out to you and happy 10-year marriage. Like, listen, you've made it farther than a lot of married couples in America have made it. So shout out to you. And I'm praying that you guys see not just 10 more, not just 20 more, not just, I don't know how old you are, because I may be, not just 30 more, not just for the rest of your lives, you're married. Your marriage is an example to other people. Not what it looks like, but what it is. What's going on? Gracious greatness from across the pond. All right. What's going on, bro? And that's the thing. Zion Williamson has gotten this woman pregnant before he got married. Okay. If I know correctly, I think LeBron James did the same thing with his wife. I think they had gotten pregnant before they got married. But LeBron James understood the value of a good woman. One thing I like about LeBron James, and LeBron James, I wish he could speak to these younger players because he tends to do things the right way. We see NBA players get on and they go back to the hood and hang out with their friends. Then we see LeBron James get on, go back to the hood, and give their friends jobs. All his friends are millionaires. Millionaires. He leveled them up. Married the woman he wind up getting pregnant, and they have a what appears to be a beautiful marriage now. You don't see her in the limelight. You don't see her trying to be all out there, and you see him actually adore her, playful with her, things like that. Not trying to be an Instagram model. Not on Red Table Talks, and you guys probably know who I'm talking about. Talking about how she's jealous of her husband's attention. We got to look at these things. What do you really want? What do you really want? Never been married, not really for a woman now, but I'm saving money to move to Russia. Russia? Hmm. We're going to talk offline. I want to know about that, bro. Of all the places in the world, Russia? I've never been, but I would love to. What type of marriages do you not agree with, but they seem to work for a couple, even a culture? Good question. I gotta be honest with you. I don't really think of it like that. What type of marriages I do not agree with. If a man and woman find each other and they are compatible and they are committed to doing the work to making the marriage work, I don't care if she is rocking tattoos from head to toe and a bone through her nose, and he is a banker that is straight edge and got his pants tied with the crease in between, and all that. They can look as weird as that. If they're doing the work to make the marriage work, I'm supportive of it, especially if they got Jesus in the mix. If God is in between them, the Bible says a three-chord strand is not easily broken. And then he says, yes, comrade. Comrade. Russia beliefs and hardships remind me of myself. Plus, a man eating Siberia bears. I'm not eating a bear. Never going to have a bear meat. That's weird. Eating bear meat? You can't just go fishing with bears. You got to eat the meat. Listen, Russia. Yeah. But listen, like I was saying, low value women, they will be the downfall of every man. Every man. And they have almost been the downfall of a lot of men. Jay-Z. He was that close. That close. You know what I think saved him? That elevator scene when Solange went off of him. I think at that point it was like, you know what? It's out there. He already got punished for getting beat up by Beyonce's sister. So let's not do it any worse. Like that Jay-Z don't realize it, but Solange saved that marriage. I'm just saying. That's me being funny, but yeah. A low value woman will be the fall of a lot of men. Or a lot of boys looking to become men, or a lot of men looking to become of high value according to American standards. Y'all read this? You've had a what, bro? You don't even Molly December. Do not entertain this. Do not entertain this. We
don't do that here.
We don't eat elephants here, okay?
We don't do that here.
What? Leave my elephants alone, okay? Oh, man. Well, gators, I get. Rattlesnakes, though? Rattlesnakes? Elephants? Bears? Yo, if y'all eat gorillas, like, I'm done. I'm done. No, I'm not. I'm messing with you. Elephants are my favorite animal, so but that's probably why I would never eat an elephant. Wait, you eat meat that tastes like hog head cheese? Wait, so explain that to me because I will never eat meat that smells and tastes like cheese. So explain that to me, bro. You guys got me way off topic right now. I've even eaten gator, love it. I don't like rattlesnake though. See, I'm a New York guy. Like, I'm a city kid. If I can't find it in the supermarket, if it's not at Western Beef, I ain't eating it. If I have to go to a local store to have it killed in front of me, I probably won't eat it. I was in Trinidad when I was 6, and I remember seeing my aunt chop off the head of a chicken, and that chicken kept running, messed my whole life up. Well, at least for the moment. And I didn't eat dinner that day. It's kind of weird. Yeah. Insane. I live in the woods. I'm not built for civilization. That's why Mother Russia is future home. Mother Russia, isn't Mother Russia a term that people born in Russia use? Just me and the wild, going back to prehistoric times. Okay. Let me know how that goes for you. You probably won't have internet, so I'm not sure if you're gonna write letters or send a carrier pigeon across the Atlantic or Pacific, whatever, to send me a message. But I would like to know how that goes for you, bro. That was just meant to do that one. Wait, hog head cheese. What? So what is hog head cheese? Explain. Is it actual cheese? Please tell me what hog head cheese is. I don't know what it is. I'm gonna be honest with you. The title of it isn't that appealing and appetizing to me. I probably don't want that. Okay. Just like a man should not want to engage with low value women. So now Zion is in a place where his future is in the hands of people who may not want that kind of attention in their basketball organization. Oh, it's not actually cheese. It's the mold of the head. Okay. It's the mold of the head of a hog, meat and okay. But you don't I don't want to recall this. I'll take your word for it. But yeah. So Zion Williamson is in a place now where his high value is at stake. And if this lady, if what she says is true, and she's willing to put this video out there, it's going to shame him. And also, I think it's kind of crazy, right? It just hit me. It just hit me. It doesn't take away from the point, right? But how would men respond? How would the world respond if a man tells a woman and publicly goes out there and say, I'm about to ruin this woman's career. I am going to release this tape of us. Like, you know what? It just hit me. I might be thinking of this way wrong. Like, it's his actions. I get it. I get it. But to exploit him the way she is, which goes to show men, we got to be reflective. Zion put himself in that position. We could potentially put ourselves in that position to be exploited by a woman who doesn't care about us, a woman of low value, and the world won't care. But if the tables have turned, and a guy has that kind of footage and publicly says, oh, you chose him over me? I'm about to release these tapes. This man will be in jail. He would be canceled. A man cannot get away with that by no means, but a woman can. Hell hath no fury than a woman scorn. A woman who's hurt can do immeasurable damage to a man. Which is why we need to choose wisely and identify the value of a woman first, and then make investments. Because despite the imbalance that exists, understand this: men are the most unprotected class in America, specifically men of my complexion, a little lighter, a little darker, so on and so forth. People don't care. They like the drama if the drama is centered around a man's downfall, but not so much if it's about a woman's downfall. Here's my position: I don't glory in anyone's downfall. No one. No one. So I feel for Zion Williamson. I feel for him. I think he needs a like prayer, guidance. He needs intervention because he's about to lose it all. Lose it all. He needs Jesus. He needs discipline. He needs it all. And I wish I could have the opportunity to speak to these young men going into professional sports. I wish. One person I look at is a player from years ago named Jamal Mashburn. He made investments, and when he left the NBA, he was good. Shaquille O'Neal made investments. He's good. Magic Johnson made investments. He's good. Michael Jordan had Nike invest in him. In turn, he made investments. He's good. Kobe's family made investments. They're good. These young men need to go through a class and a course, which they might have, to show them. Now, again, at the end of the day, it's their decision. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. So at the end of the day, it's their decision. But they should go through a course to show them how to manage life, not just their money, but life in general. Be confronted with the realities that because now you have money, low value women will be knocking down at your door. Don't look at them as toys, because they can be a toy tonight that be a baby mama for the rest of your life. Don't play these games. Zion Williamson was playing Russian roulette with his lower extremities, and he got caught out there. No pun intended. Antonio, I know you're going to Russia, but no pun intended. It's a dangerous game. And many men even of that don't have a lot of money playing this game, which keeps them from being at a place of high value because they dealt with a low value woman. And you can find a low value woman at any level of your life. At any level. Be watchful. Be watchful. Act like men. That's scripture. Act like men. Be disciplined. Don't fall for a pretty face that's made up and caked up and 2 fake pieces of meat with a line in between. Don't. It'll ruin your life. It'll ruin your life. Again, if I was Ja Zion, I would be a hermit. Facts. Unless I was at practice or game day, nobody would see me out in public. Unless I was out preaching Jesus. All right. Steve Harvey has a program here in Atlanta where he teaches them that very thing. So he brings the young men into his home here in Atlanta. Does he do it for the sports, for the up-and-coming athletes learning how to be a man? So that's dope. I think I've heard of that program. He does it in his ranch. Yeah, I've heard of it. And it's 2023. We are advancing to a point where we are producing children with artificial wombs now. We humans evolved. Now we don't need men and women to reproduce. If these artificial wombs can create a baby without a sperm and an egg, then I'll concede to your point. But as long as you need a man's sperm and a woman's egg to reproduce, that closing of your statement is wrong. That we don't need men and women to reproduce. Yeah, we do. That's an impossibility. A man produces sperm, women, house the eggs. There's no way that can happen. Artificial womb or not, because you can have an artificial womb, but if you don't have an embryo to put in it, then that artificial womb is useless. And the only people that can create an embryo is a man and a woman. But yeah. I hear what you're saying. All right, guys. I'm about to close this out. Guys, stay on, because this is going to redirect you to another live stream I'm doing right after this about Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate's indictment and what it means for the red pill content creators. This is going to be a good one. And I would encourage you guys to call in, because I'm not going to be on long too, because I have a long day tomorrow and I have to do some traveling in the next couple of days. So, but yeah, it's going to be a good one. Okay. Hopefully, because I say it's going to be a good one and nobody watches, but then when I say this video is going to tank and it goes semi-viral, so we'll see how that goes. But look at how AC Green managed his life. Yeah. Look at China. What's happening in China? Because again, China's not creating babies without a male and a female. They still need that. I don't recall the sports aspect, but the camp definitely focuses on the principles of manhood. I hear that. Okay. Yeah, I know a couple of years ago, back in like the early 2010s, I was looking into things like that, and I even sent them my book and requested that I could be one of the speakers at that event. But Steve Harvey don't know who Dre is. He probably won't even out, because I'm a man who speaks my mind in a way that's respectful. I just disagree with some of the things that Steve Harvey does say. CP the artist, what's going on, bro? What's going on? If you guys haven't watched his video on this topic, please. He posted it last week. Very good take. Very good take. All right. So at 8 o'clock, I'll be going live talking about the whole indictment. And I'm not going to be going into detail about the actual indictment, but I will be talking about how it will affect red pill content creators going forward. Okay. It's going to be a really, really, really interesting video. And I'm going to try not to talk too much, because I'm not feeling too well, to be perfectly honest, but you got a headache. Last night I got maybe 2 or 3 hours of sleep. So I am a little tired, but I didn't go live last week. I had to try to go live today, and I'll be live again next week. So thank you guys so much for watching. Now listen, do me a favor. If you made it this far in the video, hit that like button. And if you are not subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel right now. Hit the bell notification so it'll let you know when I go live, like I'm doing right now, when I upload new videos. Okay. Now, if you would like to support the channel, a couple of ways to do so. I am trying to grow my Patreon. Right now I have one patron. You know who it is? I ain't even gonna tell you who it is, because it's embarrassing. You probably can guess. Leave a comment down below. Let me know who you think my one and only patron is. I got a few channel members on YouTube, only one patron. Okay. And I am about to do a series on Patreon. I don't want to say what it is yet, because I got to get permission to do this series. It's going to be good. But I got a series idea. So only my Patreon and channel members will be able to watch that. And you can be a channel member by going down below and clicking memberships. Go to patreon.com/Harrison Family Values. And if you would like to support the channel financially by giving money and as far as purchasing merch, you can do so by looking down below and getting any of the items that you see down below: shirts, t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, whatever it is with our merch. And we got some new products releasing for the beginning of the summer, so stay tuned for that as well. So guys, I really appreciate you guys for watching. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's a good thing that I have a good, decent job, right? And YouTube is not my only source of income, right? But listen, it's embarrassing. But I appreciate her support. I really, really, really do. I do. All right, guys. So, guys, I really appreciate you guys also for watching. And stay tuned for the redirect. So stay on this. It'll redirect you. And then we're going to go live in like another 5 minutes on the other channel. Or on this channel, but on the other show. All right. So, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.